Christiana lives a picture perfect life. She has rich parents, she recently got engaged to the love of her life, and has a best friend who is like the sister she never had. Christiana Coker, CC for short, is a beautiful young lady in her early 20s. She is the daughter of the famous Esther Coker, the CEO of the biggest cosmetics line in Lagos. Her parents only had two kids, herself and Emmanuel, her younger brother, who is in his second year in this university. Christiana just finished her NYSC, a compulsory one-year program done after graduation to give back to the community. Her longtime boyfriend proposed to her on the passing out parade ceremony, and the proposal made it to the internet because of her family affluence in the fashion industry and cosmetics. Lillian, Christiana's best friend, is the happiest. She's over the engagement ring, imagining the day a man will go on one knee for her too. The following weeks after the proposal, the Coker and Adeleke families start on the wedding preparation. Christiana had requested her choice of wedding dress, as well as that of her bridal girls, be left to Lillian and herself. The two friends met on a lunch date to discuss the theme of the wedding and the Ashwebi choice for the bridal squad. Thanks to Christiana's mom, who already contacted the famous Vicky James to design the dress. And after speaking with Vicky, she recommends Christiana to have her options ready before their first official meeting. They planned to meet the following week to discuss Christiana's choice. I want something simple and classy, so I want to make sure I get my samples ready to show Vicky on Monday. She can then do her thing, Christiana said excitedly. Christiana shows Lillian a Pinterest vision board. Lillian scrolls through, pausing to give her opinion on each dress. At the end of the date, Christiana has two options. I think these two are best choice. Vicky could do magic with them. Christiana proceeds to ask Lillian to come for the meeting, but Lillian turned down the invite, telling her she has to go for a job interview. Christiana pouts, but Lillian isn't bulging. Some of us has to look for jobs, you know. Christiana just rolls her eyes, used to the job. The wedding is fast approaching. It is time for the second fitting with the designer. Lillian is running late. Christiana called her on the phone. Lillian, where are you for goodness sake? You were supposed to be here 30 minutes ago. Lillian told her she is in traffic and will join them shortly. Minutes later, Lillian arrives, but she is not in a great spirit. Christiana, in excitement to show her wedding dress, did not notice Lillian's corresponding expression. Lillian tried on her dress, and it was perfect. Christiana gushes over how everything is going as planned. Lillian watches her angry at her excitement. She thought to herself, why is my life falling apart while hers is just full of rainbow? Weeks later, the morning of the wedding, Esther, Christiana's mom, run around making sure everything runs smoothly. Christiana is busy with the makeup artist. The other Ashwebi girls are all getting ready. Lillian, on the other hand, makes a quick errand run. She collects a package from a man at the gate of the house. Christiana's mom met her on the way and she stops to ask her a question. Lillian quickly hides the package behind her back. Oh, Lillian, good thing you are here. I need you to call the small shop's vendor. I need her to add lemonade drink to her menu, she says. Lillian nods in understanding as the older woman dashed off towards the crew designing the bride's convoy for the church wedding. Alex and Christiana was in a world of their own. Both smiled adoringly at each other. The guests blushed at the display of affection between the new couple, except for Lillian, who looks unimpressed. The program ends with the bride and groom exchanging vows and the minister officially announcing them as husband and wife before God. The pastor then proceeds to say the closing prayer. The traditional wedding ceremony follows in a close-by location. The hall is lavishly decorated and guests are only allowed in with their invitation cards. The time comes for the bride's entrance with her bridal squad. Christiana and her girls dances into the hall. Lillian is happily doing her maid of honor's duty. She holds a small electric fan to Christiana's face so her makeup is intact. Christiana dances up to where Alex is already seated on a glamorous chair, waiting for his bride. She sits beside Alex, fan in hand, as the bridal girls go back to sit amongst the other guests. As the MC mounts the center, proceeding with the wedding program, Christiana shifts uncomfortably on the chair, looking restless. The MC ordered the groom to come forward as part of the tradition to greet the bride's parents and vice versa. When it's time for the bride to go greet the groom's parents, Christiana refuses and instead runs off. Her parents panicked and run after her as she dashed out of the hall. The guests are all shocked at the scenario. Alex, Christiana's husband, also runs after his wife, his heart breaking at the shocking display. Alex caught up with her as she ordered the driver to take her away. He follows the car with his own driver, still confused on the sudden change in Christiana. The driver took Christiana home on her order. She got down from the car and ran into her room, hysterically chanting, "I am not getting married again." Alex tried talking to her, but she throws him out. The more she sees him, the more hysteric she gets. Alex steps out and uses the driver's phone to call his parents so he could inform them of their whereabouts. When the parents get home, Esther was able to placate Christiana, and the doctor also helped with a sleeping pill. Later, the family, including Alex and his parents, gathered in the Coker's living room to discuss Christiana's strange behavior. Auntie Misola, Esther's older sister, suggests they call the pastor as they normally would at the face of any problem. "Nothing is beyond praying about," she says out loud. They all agree with Auntie Bailey. Esther called the pastor, but he tells them he has left town immediately after the church ceremony. He is going to be back in Lagos 2 days. He prayed for the family over the phone and told them he will include Christiana in his prayer points that night. Early hours of the following morning, the pastor called Esther back and asked if Christiana did the fasting and prayer he had told her to do before the wedding. Esther isn't sure of this, but she had relayed the pastor's message to Christiana. The pastor then revealed that the couple has received a gift that contains black magic. He has them to gather all the gifts received from the wedding and burn them all. The family did as instructed. Christiana remains the same. No improvement. They had to send Alex home because she doesn't want him around at all. Meanwhile, Lilia is nowhere to be found. When Esther called her, she told her she had to travel to her village to see her sick mother. On the evening of the third day, the pastor arrives at the Cooker's home and he is immediately taken to Christiana's room. The pastor started praying upon his sleeping Christiana. The loud prayer woke her up, but unlike all the other times, she is calm and just stares at the wall. After several minutes of prayer, the pastor walks up to Christiana and plucks off a tiny necklace with a heart-shaped pendant from her neck. Once the necklace comes off, Christiana looks around the room like someone who just got out of a trance. She looks at everyone, confused, and the first thing she said is, "Where is my husband? Where's Alex?" she asked. Esther rushes to her, hugging her and crying. Christiana looks confused. Her father stepped out and comes back in with Alex and his parents. Christiana, seeing her husband, rushes out of her mom's embrace and jumps into Alex's arm. Alex hugs her tightly, weeping. Christiana pushes back to look into his teary eyes, asking him why he is crying. Alex couldn't control his tears. He whispers, "I'm just happy you are back." Christiana stepped back, looks at everyone, then calmly asks, "Why is everyone looking at me all funny?" Her dad explains the events from the wedding up to the moment the pastor takes the necklace off of her neck. Christiana is shocked. The pastor asks where the necklace came from. Christiana then narrates how her best friend gave her the expensive necklace as a wedding gift. She remembered Lillian had put it on for her just before her entrance to the wedding hall. during the traditional ceremony. Pastor told them the necklace isn't ordinary. It is a charm necklace meant to bring doom calamities, which is why Christiana was acting strange at the pod. Christiana couldn't believe her ears. She thought, why would Lilia do this to me? Why would she want to ruin my life? She was supposed to be my best friend, and she did this to me on my wedding day. Christiana wept bitterly. The pastor told her if she had fasted and she had been told, then the evil would have been averted. Not all wedding gifts come from the place of love. Evil people uses the opportunity to carry out their evil plans too, the pastor says. Christiana cries more. She turned to Alex and his parents, begging them to forgive her for embarrassing and sullying their name. She then begged her mom to forgive her for bringing shame to the family. Christiana searched for Lillian, but was fruitless. She had changed her number and vanished into thin air. One of their mutual friends even told Christiana someone told her Lillian has traveled out of the country. When Christiana ran into Lillian's uncle a month later, the uncle, which is the only family Christiana knows of Lillian, the uncle says Lillian stole his money and ran off. Since then, he hadn't heard from her. Christiana is even more shocked. I thought I knew Lillian. Apparently, I'm wrong, she thought to herself. Years later, Christiana, along with family, traveled to the UK for vacation. They are visiting Disneyland for her son's 2 years birthday. They walk out of the airport, and as they approach their taxi, a tattered, sick-looking beggar who sits on the bench few feet away caught Christiana's attention. She walks towards the beggar. Lillian, is that you? She asked. Surprised. Lillian, seeing Christiana, is shocked. She tries to run, but her sick body wouldn't allow her. She instead falls to the ground, asking for forgiveness. Lillian shakes her head with pity and keeps begging Christiana for forgiveness. Christiana just looks at her indifferent. Even now, you are still running? You tried to ruin my life, Lillian, but God is not from your village. Christiana says calmly. Lillian begs, saying she doesn't know what came over her. It's just your life was so perfect that you couldn't see mine was falling apart. I lost my job. John cheated on me. Everything was just going wrong, and you, my best friend, is in La La Land. I had thought to teach you what sadness looks like, but now I know I don't get to play God with someone else's life. She cries soberly. Lillian told Christiana she needs forgiveness as God is already dealing with her. My life is a mess. I am dying. Please forgive me. Christiana stares at her with pity. She tells her she has nothing to give her. It is God you need to beg, not me. Lillian continues begging, but Christiana and her family walks off, leaving a whimpering Lillian behind in her misery and guilt. Days later, as the couple had breakfast in their hotel room, they saw Lillian's picture on the news with the headline, "Mad Woman Died in a Hit and Run." The newscaster narrated how a car had hit the victim, who had escaped from the local asylum in the early hours of the morning. Christiana stops eating, leaves her food, and goes to the balcony. Alex follows her. She had a lone tear roll down her face. How did I miss the subtle details? How did I not see she is going through a tough time those years? Alex tells her not to blame herself for Lillian's life. Remember the times you were there for her when her parents abandoned her. You were a good friend to her, Christian. Don't let her manipulate you into thinking you were not. Alex says softly. Christiana cries, remembering the good memories when Lillian was still a friend, and not the enemy she later turned out to be. I truly did see her as a sister, and I thought she took me as sin. She wept. Alex hugs her, comforting her. They both look over the city, ready to leave the past behind and focus on the future